Welcome to The Simple Fix. My name is Karen, and this is a 20-minute at-home reformer session, and it's performed predominantly seated. So this is a great one for you to do if you just don't feel like doing any standing work, or you want to just focus on the spine, some rotation, some opening up through the upper body. It's one of those that's perfect for when the legs are a little bit tired, but you still want to get moving on your reformer. I'm teaching this on the fold reformer, so those are the springs I'm going to be cueing, but I will let you know whether it's lighter or heavier. Depending on the size of your reformer and the size of your height and leg length, you might want to adjust the seated positions as well. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start with the reformer nice and anchored. So I've got 2 green springs on the fold because that's enough anchorage for me. And then I'm going to turn to face the foot bar, okay? And I'm just going to start off sitting nice and comfortably up here. And as I said, depending on your height, if the carriage is really long, you might just be here with your feet on the carriage with you. If it's a bit shorter for you, you might have those feet resting on the platform as I do. Now we're just gonna start by sitting up nice and tall. You're kind of ignoring the machine for now, which is absolutely fine. And we are just gonna start with some lovely breath work. So sitting up as tall as possible, and I'm just gonna inhale, expand those ribs. And exhale. And I'm not really thinking about too much yet, just inhale. And exhale. Now I'm going to grip my hands behind my thighs and I'm going to basically do a seated cat-cow. I'm going to inhale, extend into my chest. Eye line goes up, chest opens. Exhale, it's like I'm being punched in the guts. I'm rounding, letting that chin drop, letting that tailbone tuck underneath me. Inhale, reverse that. Chest up, face up, nipples up to the ceiling. Exhale, like I've been punched in the belly, and I'm rounding, 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 rounding. Good. Inhale. Open, 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 open. Shoulders down, chest is up. Good. And exhale. Tuck that tailbone. Good. One more time. We inhale and we lift. I'm really using my hands to pull me into that chest extension. And then round, 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 round. Excellent work. Okay, from there, carriage is still nice and stable. I'm going to shimmy myself forward and I'm going to have a lie down onto my bed. Okay, lying down nice and comfortably, getting my feet up onto that foot bar. Once my feet are up on my foot bar, I'm going to spread them nice and wide, allowing my legs to just be completely relaxed. Remember, this is basically a seated recovery session, okay? So we want to make sure we're going into it as relaxed as possible. Let's go for some windscreen wipers all the way to the right. Good, feeling that lovely twist through the spine and rib cage and over to the left. Now there's many ways you can cue this. I did a class recently this week where the instructor had us hold the shoulder blocks, and she cued that we feel like pulling the shoulder blocks apart as we rotate, which was quite great because it activates through the top of the body. It activates through the upper back, and it really helps with that anchoring. So if you're looking to just add a bit more sort of integration to this, I usually start the class here and it's really lazy with the legs. I'm also just using this as a moment to see how much people can move and giving the client a chance to see how their body's feeling. But if you want to activate it a bit more, gripping those shoulder blocks and imagining that you're pulling them apart really just brings in a bit of integration, which can feel quite good. All right, let's settle down into the center. Get the feet onto that foot bar. Arms are coming up. I'm going to go ahead and find my tabletop position. Now, tabletop can look very different on very different bodies, okay? It's always cued knees over hips and feet in line with the knees. However, this is quite a bit of load right from the beginning. So I always encourage a little bit more sort of knees into chest, maybe even a bit lazier with the legs, especially when we're just in the beginning of the class. We're going to inhale here and exhale, closing those ribs. Good. Inhale and exhale. Great. I'm going to go ahead and flex those feet, and I'm going to find a really light heel tap down to my foot bar. So this is a really small movement, okay? I don't want the legs going too far away. I'm using this as a very light warm up for the core. We're going to speed it up. We're here for 8, 7, 6, 5, keep the spine nice and stable. No clenching through the abs. We are just stabilizing. We're here for 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Excellent. I'm then going to shimmy myself down and allow my legs to hang over the foot bar. Now, again, depending on the size of your machine, this might not be very comfortable. Often people want to get their sort of knees hanging over. Maybe you're over here where it's just your calves. It's a nice little additional massage for the calves. Maybe not nice, but it's definitely there. Okay, we're going to take this into our first roll up. We're going to inhale. We're going to exhale, tuck the chin, lift the head, sending those hands towards those knees. What you might need to do is assist yourself to sit all the way up. Stop here at the top, inhale, and exhale, rolling back. Now, yes, the roll back is a bit intense to start with, but that's why I've given you the assistance. Literally grab your legs. Try keep them anchored at the same time. Tuck that chin. Find that flexion and pull yourself up. Excellent. And then control it down. We've got one more to get through. Inhale. Exhale, reaching up and over, possibly grabbing those thighs. Walking up, 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 up. Take a second here. Maybe find a moment of extension for 3, for 2, and 1. We're actually staying up. I'm going to get my hands back behind me and scooch me backwards. Excellent. We're going to transition onto your hands and knees. Hopefully managing to sit nice and comfortably like this. Now, high kneeling is going to be your progressive option. And if you're uncomfortable on the knees like this, your modification will be sitting on the box, okay? I don't like to get people sitting just on the bed because it's a little bit low, it's a little bit frumpy. Sitting on the box is a good option. I'm going to go ahead and put myself onto 1 green and 1 yellow spring. So this is kind of like my medium with a bit more weight, okay? Medium with a bit more weight. We're gonna start with those arms at the sides, palms facing forward. Big inhale here. As we exhale, swoop those arms forward to shoulder height and bring them down. Good. Now you'll notice my arms are not right at my sides. There's a little bit of space, okay? I'm airing out the armpits a little bit so that I've just got a little bit more control on those ropes. Remember, if you move the knees forward right now, you're gonna get more tension, okay? So that's an easy one to do. Now I'm gonna bring in a bit of high kneeling for those of you that wanna just get the legs moving a bit more as we press. Big squeeze through the glutes and sit back down. Exhale, squeeze through the glutes and sit back down. Let's go for 2 more reps. And sit back down. I know it's quite heavy, that's why we're doing a low rep range. We come up, we hold. Tailbone tucked away. This is a moment for your posture. We've got 4, 3, 2, 1. We come down. Excellent. As I hook those loops away, my hands are gonna find the shoulder blocks. I'm gonna shimmy my knees forward and just explore a bit of a thigh stretch, okay? Lifting those hips up, seeing what those thighs and hip flexors are saying today. How comfortable am I in this position for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's bring it down. We're going to go ahead and turn into our mermaid stance. Now, mermaid is often misunderstood as an easy exercise, okay? And although it might not be the most challenging, the idea behind it is actually the seated position. So someone really needs to have good internal and external rotation to be able to sit comfortably like this. For example, right now, my left hip is really pinching because the internal rotation on the side is quite bad. My pelvis is not stable, but I'm in a nice position to try and drop that left hip and really work into where I need to work into for my range. So what a great position to do a bit of arm work in, because we are killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm going to go ahead and release my yellow. I'm going to work only on a green or 1 medium spring. I'm going to grab my loop. I'm going to bring it across my body to my opposite arm. I'm going to start with a shoulder height. I'm going to start with a shoulder height row. I'm going to go elbow. I'm going to extend until the arm is straight, fold it back and down. Now, while I'm working through this row, I'm thinking about my spine, okay? I want to grow really tall. I don't want to see any shift in the rib cage as we're isolating into the shoulder. So straight out row. Notice how high my elbow is. Where is it pointing? It's pointing straight to the side and it stays high. I've got just one more rep here. I'm actually going to hold it out for a second and challenge my long lever stability, challenge my posture against that. If need be, I can take hold of that rope. I am here for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. I'm coming in, I'm swapping that hand over. I'm placing my free hand behind me on the corner of the bed. And now we're going to work into a push. So when I was gripping to pull, I had a fist. Now I've got an open hand, palm is leading across the body. And rotate, bring it all the way back in. Now, as I get to that peak rotation, you can see what's happening to my hips. They're lifting. Okay, fine. I don't have the range to keep the hips down. But that doesn't mean we can't cue it. And the moment I cue to keep that hip down, I'm really using my abdominals to rotate my chest a bit more, okay? Because I'm getting a bit of actual rotation. You'll often cue to push to the foot bar. I do think that that's a bit far. Cue to the corner of the room. You're still getting rotation. You're still getting that single arm chest press, but you're getting a little bit more stability through the pelvis. I'm exhausted, so we're going to do 2 more. And in. Last one is the spine still growing tall. And in. Fantastic. From there, both hands onto that loop. Notice how we've done a whole series here. We're going to hold this for a second. You're hugging that beach ball. You're growing really tall. Make sure there's no floppy elbows in the room. We're nice and high. Good. Find those 2 sit bones if you can. Big inhale here. Exhale, rotating over towards the springs. And when I come back, keeping the same control as I rotate to the ropes. Notice how my arms should not change shape, okay? So I shouldn't be letting it pull me into a deflated beach ball. You're holding that beach ball the whole time. You're not leaning. You're staying upright on your flag post as you rotate. And the same thing as you rotate this way. We've got another 3 here. Strong exhale. Notice how my eye line goes with me. And my eye line goes with me. My fist has continuously been right in front of my sternum. It's not going anywhere. Excellent. We'll go for 1 more. Bring it in line with the sternum. Take it over, over. Bring it back all the way to the ropes. And now we can let that go. Hopefully, you're still surviving in that mermaid position, okay? If you need to shake it out, shake it out. I can feel the tension. It's now in my knee in a good way. It's kind of loosening up through those legs. We're gonna take it into a gorgeous mermaid, okay? So from here, get that hand onto the bar. You might wanna work a little bit heavier. You might even wanna lift the foot bar a little bit more. I'm actually gonna do that. I'm gonna lift it to there. Fab. Now again, the mermaid just seems like it's a dive towards the foot bar, and it's not. We're gonna stay nice and upright. We're gonna extend this arm. We're gonna push away. We're then gonna grow tall. We're gonna reach up. We're gonna start to lean from the rib cage, rib cage, rib cage, rib cage. Good. Now, if I want to encourage a little bit more freedom, I can tell them to push even more and start to lie that bottom armpit down towards the springs. Good. But we're only going to do that once we've actually isolated rib cage flexion. Excellent. Let's do that again. Nice and slow. First, we push out. Both sit bones should still be nice and even. So I don't want to start there. You see what happened? My hips are out. Keep them underneath you. Now, nothing moves in the carriage or the hips as we go up, 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 and over. Still nothing moves in the carriage and the hips for as long as possible. And then I'm going to start to open up that armpit. I'm going to start to reach. This is a little bit more enjoyable, but we've started with the correct technique. We hold for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. We're coming up. Once we've done that, I'm going to take hold of the shoulder block, bring this hand to behind my head. This is my favorite modification of a mermaid. From here, I'm going to use this arm to pull me in. I'm going to rotate, imagining my elbow is about to kiss that shoulder block. And then I'm going to swap that round. I'm going to use this hand again to push as I open my chest up. 1 more like that. Pull that elbow into the shoulder block. And then pressing away, opening up, opening up, opening up, opening up, opening up, and relax. Gorgeous. Let's finally get those legs out of that mermaid position. Give them a little shake out. We are going to be facing our loops. I'm going to add another spring again. So remember how we started on a yellow and a green for our arms? We're going to go back to yellow and a green. We're then going to turn to face our loops. Now, I'm going to go ahead and lengthen both my legs and cross them over because there's not enough space for them to be next to each other. Whatever feels good for you here in this position is fine, but we do want a lengthened leg. We want a little bit of space behind us because we are going to roll back. I'm going to go ahead and cross my loops over, okay? Start by drawing them into the sternum. Elbows high, you are sitting tall. We inhale here. Exhale, tuck that tailbone, send the toes away from you. I'm trying to reach my toes for my loop posts. Go, go, go. Pause when you feel like you can't successfully round anymore. And then slowly let that pull you back up. Notice how my hands are still super close to my chest. They have not gone anywhere. Finding a tall seat at the top. Inhale. Exhale, I start by sliding my toes away from me, tucking that tailbone, rolling through that lumbar spine. Good, 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 good. I don't want to be here. This is going to feel quite easy. I want to be rounded, rounded, rounded. Holding this here. Big inhale. Exhale, start by leading with the forehead to get that round, that true flexion. I'm literally sweating. Okay, we're gonna do one more. We're gonna go exhale, send those toes away from you. Keep your hands nice and tight into your chest. You are rounding that spine as much as you can. Now we're gonna pause here. I'm gonna send my palms to face me. I'm gonna see how high I can get them without popping my ribs, probably just there. We hold for 4. We hold for 3. We hold for 2. We bring them back into the chest as we round ourselves back up. A very slow, a very focused roll back sequence. From there, I'm going to go ahead and change the cross of my legs. Yes, it does matter. You'll have one hip that's more comfortable than the other. So I'm going to do this next set. I've swapped my legs. I've also uncrossed the loops. We're going to go ahead, and we're going to send those palms facing behind us. Our arms are still in front of us, but our palms are facing back, sitting up nice and tall. I'm going to start to roll back here. Same technique, send the toes away from me. It's lighter because my arms are further away from me. Once I get to where I think my roll back is, I'm just going to press and release. Notice how they're not going too far. Press and release. Why are we not going too far? Because we don't want to disrupt the curl in the spine. Once I've done 3, I'm going to roll myself back up. Excellent. Inhale here. Exhale, start by sending the toes away from you, rounding, 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 rounding. Good. Now those arms swoop back and forward and forward. Last one. And forward, and we recover it up. Excellent. Okay, fab. Hook those loops up. From there, I'm going to turn myself around into my mermaid position on the other side. So bringing those legs in, maybe I just take a second here, and then I'm going to be bringing myself round. So bringing myself round to the other side, okay, and now you're going to have a nice view of the hip hike. So again, my internal rotation is not too hot on my right leg, and I'm trying to get this bum down and keep it down as much as possible. I'm going to be working on that the whole time while I'm working my arms, okay? So grabbing that loop, it comes across the body, and we start with that straight Okay, for Karen, we do not start with a straight extension. I have to lose a spring for my left arm. Hilarious. You might need to as well. We take it out. We bring it in. Now, I could jump into the bigger loop instead of changing a spring, but that would then mean that I actually run out of space on this reformer. So instead of just adjusting distance-wise, I've gone ahead and dropped that spring. That's okay. It is my left arm. It is not as strong in the single arm work, and that is okay. I'm going to be here for another 3. I'm fighting to keep my top elbow up and my body nice and still. For 2. Excellent. And last 1. Yowza. I'm going to hold it there. Remember, we did this hold. I'm going to try and straighten out that spine. Maybe I'm supporting. I am supporting. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Swap that hand. All right, rejig that body. We're nice and upright. Inhale. Exhale. I'm pushing across the body and sending that there and coming back. Now remember what I said about aiming for the diagonal instead of aiming for the foot bar, okay? We are single arm pushing across and coming back. And I'm really trying to keep my right hip down so that I'm fighting for the rotation from my chest and rib cage instead of just lifting my pelvis. Excellent. We're going to do 2 more. And in, and last 1. And in, grabbing that loop. Now, I am quite uncomfortable in my mermaid. I'm going to do a little adjustment. I know that it's good for me though, okay? It's getting that range of motion that I need. And now we're going to do our rotation. So I'm holding like a beach ball, okay? Remember that sensation. Elbows are high, big inhale. As you exhale without leaning, you rotate over the foot bar. You recover and recover towards the back of the room. Inhale, exhale, forward. I'm not leaning, it's just my arms. So I can actually feel the rotation happening. If I am just throwing my spine side to side, there is not any actual rotation happening, which means the integration I'm looking for from the core is also not happening. We're going to do 1 more. And recover. Excellent work. I'm going to pop that down and then we go for our mermaid. So as I said, we are nice and upright, okay? Now, we start with that push away just to there. We're not leaning already. We are just here. Now I start to go up. I start to go up and over. Notice how the ribs are trying. Only once I reach as far as I think I can go, am I going to cue to open the springs, armpit down to the springs. And then coming up, get the ribs underneath me first. And let's do that again. We want to start from nicely aligned. Holding that there, we reach up first, no movement from the carriage. We start to reach sideways, still no movement from the carriage. Then we can extend into that. We are then coming up and we're going to go into my favorite variation of this, which is hand down, hand behind the head. Inhale. Exhale, rotate. Elbow is trying to get to that shoulder block. Go, 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 go. We then swap that round. I'm pushing into that shoulder block and I'm trying to open up to the ceiling. And one more time. Pulling in. And then pressing away. And relax. Excellent work. I'm going to get my legs out of that lovely mermaid and just take a second. Okay. So that is a fantastic seated sequence. It's quite tough on the upper body, gets a lot of sort of rib cage and shoulder integration going, which is something we need to focus on in isolation. The great thing about the mermaid stance is it really just locks your pelvis in place and it exposes any kind of tightness that we've got in the hips and any compensation that we're doing by moving the hips instead of the rib cage. If you enjoyed that, like and comment below. Let me know how you found it on your body. My name is Karen. This is A Simple Fix. Thanks for watching.